everyone. I am about a week post-op from my hysterectomy and I am recovering very nicely. So I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you to everyone who has just been reaching out, showing support, sending prayers, love, encouragement, sharing their own stories about hysterectomies or other, women related challenges. I felt so encouraged and validated and seen and heard and loved by all of you. And I'm hoping that by sharing just a little bit of my journey, that I can spread that and pass that on to other women as well. It's not an easy decision to make when you decide you're getting a hysterectomy, whether it's a partial or a full. Any surgery is a risk, and especially when you're talking about removing a vital organ, especially an organ that really is just essential to being a woman. And so just a little bit about my surgery and recovery. I had adenomyosis, which is deep growth in the muscle wall of my uterus, where endometriosis is the growth that kind of happens outside of your uterus. And so going into the surgery, I knew that I had adenomyosis and I knew that I had fibroids. But talking to my surgeon after the surgery, she just said, "I can't believe that you have been standing and dealing with this for so long. You are so strong," because a uterus is usually 50 grams and mine was over 300 grams. So my uterus was 6 times the size that it should have been. It was the size of a 14-week pregnant uterus. And for those who are not good at math, that's about 3.5 months. So my uterus was the size of a 3.5-month pregnant uterus when it was removed. I had deep endometriosis that didn't show up on scans, but showed up when the surgeon went in there to take a look, around my bladder, around my rectum, around the tubes that connect my kidneys to my bladder, all in the uterosacral ligament of my uterus, which is kind of like that muscle wall outside of the uterus. There was just a lot of stuff that they had to remove. It was like a full HGTV renovation happening over here. Like my pelvis was completely renovated. And so my surgeon did remove my uterus, my cervix, and my fallopian tubes. I was able to keep my ovaries. My ovaries looked perfectly fine. They negotiated a lease, so they get to stay for a little bit. They moved to another neighborhood. The surgeon sewed them up along my pelvic wall, just to prevent any additional scarring. A lot of the endometriosis still couldn't be removed. I know there's some that's still left on my rectum, for instance. Praying that goes away. If not, we'll have to kind of cross that bridge later. But yeah, it's been a journey. I'm not I'm not as in much pain as I was the first couple of days. I am still very sore, very stiff. I have to constantly remind myself to just take it easy and slow down. The hardest part is not being able to pick my babies up, because I can't lift anything over 10 pounds. My doctor also said no contact sports. So that includes playing with my children, because they use me as a jungle gym. So I've had to just kind of keep contact with the littles to a very minimum. Thankfully, Brandon has really stepped up, and Mama D, my amazing mother-in-law, they both have really stepped up to help out. And thank you to everyone, especially the medical team. I first saw Dr. Janu at St. Joe's, and then Dr. Saifi at University of Maryland, Midtown. Amazing medical team. Originally, I thought I could just go in for a uterine ablation and the response was, you are not a candidate. A uterine ablation is not going to help. You know, it's a hysterectomy that you need. And so the Dr. Safie and the team at University Midtown, phenomenal. I cannot recommend them enough for just the level of care that I received during this whole process. And yeah, I think that's it. If you have any other questions or want to know more about the journey, you know, I didn't realize it was such a hot topic, but I'm glad that it is. I'm an open book. I'm willing to share whatever it is. Just ask me. But I'm just ready to finish this recovery process. It's 6 weeks of healing, 6 weeks of not being able to pick my kids up. 6 weeks of just taking it easy and allowing people to help me and to accept the help. And so thank you for everyone who's been offering to help. And yeah, they can't keep a baddie down forever.